Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. I'm not on the west coast today. I've gone all the way across and I'm now actually on the east coast in Moray, and I've come to a place called Portknockie, and the reason being is this, and it's called Bow Fiddle, which is a spectacular sort of rock formation. This is the first time I've ever been here. I've seen it plenty of times on sort of YouTube and sort of prints and stuff like that. So it's the first time I've been here, and I've got to say, just seeing it now, it's very impressive. It really is. So I can't wait to get a sunset on this. So come and join me as I get sunset on Bow Fiddle. Yeah, so I've parked at the car park here. In fact, you can't get the camper van into the car park because it's got a barrier, which is fair enough. So I've managed to squeeze it on the road here, and I've wandered on down to the Bow Fiddle rock itself. It's about 7 o'clock, so unfortunately the tide's all the way out, and I'm kind of by sort of sunset, which is going to be about 10 o'clock, hoping that some of the water's come back in a little bit, just because the kind of the classic sort of shot with the boulder in the foreground there is obviously not going to be in play until sort of well after dark. But that's okay, because there's still a lot of boulders in the back as well, which I can kind of scramble over and hopefully get us a decent shot for that. It's quite calm. This is the North Sea over here, so looking out all the way over the North Sea, and it's quite calm at the moment. So I would really liked a little bit of a swell coming in, just to be crashing over the waves, but it's okay. I'm sure we'll be able to find something. And as you can see, it's a little bit overcast, so the forecast is bright blue sunshine, but it's quite overcast at the moment. I've got about 3 hours to sunset, so I can kind of see it clearing behind me, and it's drifting this way, so maybe this sky is just going to open up, and hopefully we'll get a decent shot. Anyway, let's go and have a wander down and let's see what we're looking at. Yeah, there's some really great compositions all the way around this area. There's a lovely sort of sea stack here on the side of the actual Bow Fiddle, which is just around the corner here. And actually just along this bit of the coastline, there's plenty of sort of rocks and stacks and stuff like that. And I can imagine on a really stormy day at sunset, it looked quite spectacular, to be honest. So I might actually have to come back here when it's looking a bit windy. We've got a bit of a swell on, and we're going to get some nice light as well. I think it could be quite fantastic. Okay, while I wait for the sunset, I'm going to give you a little bit of a jolly bit. Don't panic and don't switch off, because I'm not going to bore you. It's only been a few seconds. The rocks around here are actually Neoproterozoic in age, which is quite a long word. And what that means is they're about 1,000 to 550 million years old. So the way this works is these are all quartzites around here, which is basically a metamorphic rock, which is basically cooked sandstone. So the sandstones have been sort of deposited, and you get these different bedding planes with different energies, high energy and low energy. And what's happened is during the Caledonian orogeny, Avalonia and Laurentia plates have collided, and it's kind of tilted them up. So you can see in this rock face over here, you can see all these lovely bedding planes, and they're kind of tilting over that way in that direction. And that's because the crust has been sort of tilted up with the collision of the two plates. So it does make for this very characteristic sort of landscape around this area, and you can see all these kind of tilting sort of bits of rock forming out with the bedding planes going across. And that's exactly what Bow Fiddle is about. It's a lovely, the bedding planes have been tilted up, and then all that's happened is erosion has eroded the weaker parts, and that's what's created the arch, which makes it look fantastic and hopefully going to be around for many years to go, but it will collapse eventually. Just to the left of the bow as you're coming down to it, there is this nice cave formation here. Ooh, I think I'm going to go down and have a look. I can kind of see daylight through the bottom of it. The tide's all the way out, so I'm safe. So I wonder if you get like a shot. It'd be great if you get like the bow with the cave. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it? Tell you what, let's go and have a look down here. If I don't come back, I've been eaten by the bogeyman. See you in a bit. Yeah, I've crept in the cave, and what you can actually see is just the opening there, and you can actually see Bow Fiddle just through the opening. Unfortunately, you're this size, so you don't actually see the arch itself, but you do get that lovely kind of whale fin effect, and it just looks quite nice framed around this dark sort of cave area with that lovely bedding plane coming down the way. So, and the light on it, that sun is just hitting that light. I've got fingers crossed because the sun is now directly on that rock, so I'm hoping it's going to stay like this until sunset. Anyway, you can't quite see it in this shot, so I might have to show you in camera. But yeah, you've got the kind of boulder look in there. The key is just to give a little bit of separation to make sure the top of the cave is not overlapping the peak of the actual Bow Fiddle itself. But yeah, I quite like this shot. So I've bracketed it. It's such a massive dynamic range here. So I've bracketed 3 shots, 3 stops apart, so that's 9 stops plus my 14 or 15 of the camera. So this is really quite a high dynamic range image, but cool. I think it's quite nice. Anyway, just for a quick throwaway while we wait for the sunset, here's the image of Bow Fiddle in the cave. Okay, so I've come down, right down to it, and I've got that beautiful light hitting the side of the bow. It's fantastic, just on that left-hand side. And I was a bit annoyed because there weren't no swell and I was wanting these crashy waves. But what he's done, and as you can see in my voice, I'm really excited about this, is I've got this beautiful reflection of the bow in the water. And with the tide being so far out, the rocks are not in the way. So it's actually almost a perfect reflection. So I'm absolutely delighted with that. What I've done is just there's a few ripples. So once again, I've gone and put a 6 stopper on it just to sort of balance those ripples out and give a sharper sort of reflection within the water. But I think this is really nice. And the colours are fantastic. I've got the blues and there's blue sky coming now. I've got that sun just backlit to the side of it, which is looking great. So I'm absolutely delighted with this. Anyway, I'm going to take a shot now on and let's see if it works out for me. But if it does work, here's the image. Having watched all the videos and seen all the photos of Bow Fiddle, my expectations were really high for this location, but I can't honestly tell you how much I've been bowled over by it. Just seeing it with my own eyes has just blown me away. And how lucky was I to get that reflection? It's just the moon's aligned, the light just burst through at the right angle to shine on the rock itself, and the tide was just at slack tide, so I could get far enough out to get the whole rock in the water as well. So I'm absolutely delighted with that image. It is just amazing. So yeah, definitely if you get a chance, come on to Bow Fiddle. It will absolutely blow you away. Well, as always, thanks for watching. It's always a pleasure to have board, and if you can write me some comments, I love a little bit of comments because I kind of write back to you if you can. Do me a favour, click on the thumbs up, it makes a massive difference to my channel. And also click on the subscribe if you're really liking this content. Good, well, I've got another day to myself here, and then I'm going to head over back to Glencoe. So hopefully my next video will be back in Glencoe. So it's great to see you on board, and keep snapping.